Hey up lads and lasses, Danfi here, back again after New Year as well. So Happy New Year everyone, this is my first video dropping this year. So touch wood, we get some good games this year, and I'm actually going to kick it off with this one. So this game is called Annihilate The Spance. It's being developed and published by Skyglow Softworks. It's releasing into EA at the time of this video. So yeah, if you're watching this, it's now, go onto Steam, you can go grab it there. It's on PC, and yeah, it's pretty solid. So just a quick nod, the devs did send me an early beta key. I've been testing and giving them feedback and stuff, as well as being able to record everything you're seeing today. If you notice any bugs in the quality of gameplay, etc., most of those have been squashed as a time recording, and the devs are just actively working on this with patches coming at least every day, if not like a couple of patches a day. It's pretty crazy how many patches these guys are getting out. So again, it is EA, so I don't want to fully commit to like a full review, as I don't really think that's particularly fair for them. The devs are adding content, they're fixing bugs, and they are mostly relying on user feedback to balancing and that kind of stuff. Another game comes to mind that did really, really well, that relied on the user feedback, and that was Baldur's Gate 3. So if you want to, help them out, get a really good game at the same time, and really good game. I sank like 25 hours into this in 4 days. So yeah, I've just been like absolutely addicted to this thing. So the game is an RTS. I will caveat that it's not quite a straightforward RTS, say like Command and Conquer or StarCraft, those kind of RTS games. This has like a level of sort of auto battler to it. It's not quite fair to really call it that, but that's how I kind of see it. So you don't have control over individual units, etc. It's more based around the economy side of the war, and you'll predominantly be managing your economy and building, shipyards that will automatically produce ships, and you can choose which shipyards are producing which ships, and then there's different sizes of shipyards, up to cruisers and capitals and that kind of stuff. And the shipyards, the ships come out, they autonomously seek out targets, and they go blow stuff up. So it's a lot of tug-of-war style, where you bit back and forth between you and the AI as the AI's fleets are coming out, so you don't know what to counter. Ships do have like pretty hard counters, so you might build, some Tollies to start off with, which are like little tiny fighters. They're good damage, they're just good. In numbers, they're pretty decent, but they could be like heavily killed off by like picket style ships, and then obviously you'll want to counter the picket ships. You build different shipyards, you get those producing different things, so on and so forth. So it is a bit of a blend. It is an RTS, but it is a blend of an auto battler. There is a pause feature here as well, which you will probably use a hell of a lot. There's almost even like a level of like tower defense to the game as well, or SimCity, as you will, when you're building up your base to make sure you got like maybe turrets at the front where the enemies are coming from in case your fleet falls apart and they break through and that stuff. On release, you can expect 22 missions, first 7 of which will be coming with the trauma difficulty. I'm not sure about the ones after that. So there is 2 campaigns currently going to be on release, 4 campaigns planned. First campaign has normal difficulty and trauma. Second campaign doesn't have trauma as of the time I'm recording this. It will be added and will be put into the game as it goes, and eventually they'll all have trauma difficulty and stuff like that. I believe there's an easier difficulty as well, but I don't know if that's been worked on yet, and I haven't personally tried it. Normal is a pretty solid challenge. Some of the missions are pretty hard, so even like normal difficulty you will struggle a little bit occasionally. But yeah, generally speaking, it's pretty good challenge, normal difficulty. For the masochists, trauma is brutal. The third mission in the game, as an example, took me roughly about 2 hours to work out how to actually beat it. It becomes almost a bit like a puzzle in that sense, which is actually quite a lot of fun playing on trauma difficulty once you've, got used to the game mechanics, and you get to play around a bit more. And yeah, so 2 hours trauma difficulty. I'm not even going to mention how long it took me to do the 4 missions after mission 3 on trauma, but it was challenging and a hell of an experience, and I'm actually really looking forward to them putting more hard difficulty missions into the game, especially at that kind of level of difficulty. So yeah. There is also going to be the good old skirmish mode, so you can waste away even more hours quite happily, with varying levels of difficulty, and that's quite customizable. Multiple different maps where you can have multiple different AIs being either on your team or against you. You can set the difficulty of the AI, and the difficulty is set purely on APM. There's no cheating AI in this game. In the form of skirmish mode, even in the missions, it's not cheating per se. They are set scenarios where they build set amount of ships, set sort of things, which is why I mentioned like the puzzly sort of aspect. In skirmish mode, it's you versus an AI. You both start from scratch, and the AI is literally just set up on how many moves it can make per minute, up to infinity, which is kind of a scary concept, because if you think of like StarCraft 2, which is like the thing that I think of when I think of like APM, I was a Zerg player back then, and my APM would hit like 300-400 during battles, like 300 just average all the time. So yeah, the AI in this can just go like ham and just like nail whatever it's trying to do in record time, so trying to keep up with that can be quite difficult. I've not actually managed to beat the AI on like the hardest possible setting in Skirmish yet, not solo anyway. With an AI like in a 2v2 scenario, I've managed to beat that, but not on a 1v1. But yeah, so there is a skirmish mode as well. Like I mentioned as well, that you have got, more campaigns coming. There is a whole load of lore coming on as well, which is quite cool. There's lore for each of the factions so far that they've added. So there's 2 main factions at the current moment. Probably going to butcher this. They're called the Contalan and the Valkyrie, or Valkyrie. And a third faction is currently being actively worked on and fleshed out as we speak for the 3rd campaign. And there will be a 4th faction, I'm guessing, for the 4th campaign. Each of the factions have literally dozens of ships to choose from, and they do vary multiple different roles here. You've got everything from drone carriers to picket ships and picket frigates, everything from drones and corvettes up to cruisers. There's Titans as well. So yeah, quite a lot to go through, quite a lot to remember for each faction. Because again, like I said, you kind of do need to like puzzle fit your fleet together, especially on the harder difficulties, to be able to counter specific types of ships or specific playstyles that the enemy might be going for. They might be going really like drone and missile heavy, so you need more picket ships in that instance. You might even want to try and rush them down, building lots of really fast, quick building corvettes, or you might want to try and like macro up your eco with cohesion arrays and that kind of stuff to boost your income, to be able to produce masses of cruisers. So there's loads of ways you can play this, and yeah, it's just really well balanced in that aspect, I found so far. Most of the gameplay is obviously built around your base, so you build your base up, you're building your shipyards, I should say. And your eco, they're from like cohesion arrays that increases your metal. You have mining platforms and mining drones that can be produced, and they'll go around and mine the closest resources to them, and that increases metal production. And then there's energy production as well, which you all need to sort of balance depending on what you're going to do. Once the shipyard is down, they will be going off and going to go zap enemies or shoot enemies, depending on the faction that you've chosen. Contalan, for example, are quite sort of, I think, laser-based. Valkyrie are more sort of like carrier drone-based with like some level of like projectile weapons and missiles and stuff going on with them. The torpedoes a little bit in both factions, and missiles a little bit in both factions. So definitely a lot to sort of get to grips with. Like showing a bit of the some of the ships off on the screen here, and yeah, it's nuts just like how much there is already, and that's just 2 factions with the 3rd working on, which you can show off a little bit here, and a 4th coming. So, you know, loads to look forward to. This is going to be a 2-year development, I believe. They've stated they want it to end well, they want 1.0 to release end of 2026. So it's the start of 2025, so it's about 2 years before like full release. Something to note as well, in early access is going to release at $25. At full release it's going to be $30, so you can get a little bit of a discount now if you want to check it out. And like I said, you can help the devs because they are horrendously active. These devs are the most chill devs I've actually had to like work with ever. Like they just like big lists of like issues, bugs coming up, and they're like jumping onto it, like immediately fixing stuff. And that's just like all the beta testers that are in at the current moment. So yeah, really quite cool. Another mode that's in at release is going to be the game editor. It's going to allow you to be, well, the creative of you to create challenging custom maps and scenarios. Probably just to ruin the mental capacity of your fellow gamers that are playing. I'm pretty certain some of you guys are going to come up with some absolutely beastly scenarios to try and get through, which would be a lot of fun. So a lot of replayability already. 2 difficulties, 2 campaigns, a full game editor, a skirmish mode. So quite a lot to actually dig your teeth to. It's like, it's quite good, that, to be honest. Most early access games at the moment that keep coming out, well, they're less than early access. They're like a pre-beta, like almost alpha state. And so this is quite refreshing to play an EA game that you can just get it in and play and enjoy and look forward to content coming down the road. So yeah, that is Annihilate The Spance. Highly recommend this at the current moment. I didn't want to give it like a full review because, like I said, I feel it's unfair. There are some bugs in the game. They are getting fixed though. The devs are shit hot, without, you know, better words for it, fixing everything. So, and again, adding content. So in 2 years' time, I might come back and I'll do like a full review of this. But even at the moment, even in early access, in what state it's currently in, I'd still even recommend it now. So that's Annihilate The Spance. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.